Welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, March 22nd, 2024. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. St. Vincent and the Grenadines today joined the international community in celebrating World Water Day 2024 under the theme Leveraging Water for Peace. World Water Day is observed annually on March 22nd by the 193 member countries of the United Nations, focusing on the importance of fresh water and advocating for the sustainable management of fresh water resources by taking action to tackle the global water crisis. A core focus of World Water Day is to support the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goal 6, water and sanitation for all by 2030. In an address for World Water Day 2024, Chief Executive Officer of the Central Water and Sewage Authority, Winsbot Kwao, said this year's theme emphasizes the pivotal function of water in fostering global stability and prosperity. The United Nations reported that about a quarter of the world's population, some 2.2 billion people, still do not have access to safe, managed drinking water, and that roughly half the world's population is experiencing severe water scarcity for at least a portion of the year. The CWSA head said over the past 50 years, water-related disasters have dominated the list of disasters and are responsible for 70% of all deaths related to natural disasters.
In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we have much to be thankful for, as all our people have access to a regular and safe drinking water supply, thanks largely to the work of the dedicated staff of the Central Water and Sewage Authority to maintain and expand our water network. Over the past 50 years, the water network on St. Vincent has expanded to 12 sources, approximately 6 million gallons of storage, and nearly 400 miles of pipeline, an equivalent distance of a round trip to Trinidad and Tobago, to deliver water to just under 41,000 connected accounts. Water is also delivered to the Grenadines, who depend mainly on rainwater harvesting through public and private arrangements in times of scarcity. However, we should never take this tremendous blessing for granted. One regional study highlights that climate change will impact water quality and quantity, in that there will be a general drying trend, less overall rainfall, and an increased prevalence of drought. It expressed concern about water security, particularly in times of emergencies, as limited water supply could have negative socioeconomic and public order consequences.
Providing statistics from a study on the local water system, Kwao said by 2071, the volume of rainfall in St. Vincent and Grenadines is predicted to decrease by 12%, while surface temperatures are predicted to rise, potentially leading to a 60% increase in water stress.
Meaning that potentially 60% less surface water will be available in the next 50 years than is available today. It further advises that if no action is taken to lessen the effects of climate change on water availability, then Vincentians can expect to experience a sharp increase in dry conditions. Therefore, to build sufficient resilience to climate change in the water sector, we must continue to pursue two critical interventions. One, increasing water supply quantity by identifying and developing new sources of fresh water and methods of delivery. And two, decreasing demand by encouraging water conservation and storage at the household, commercial, and institutional levels. Although these are challenges to overcome, our national anthem encourages us that whatever the future brings, our faith will see us through. We must therefore have faith that our God-given collective wisdom, expertise, and resources will allow us to design and implement plans to deliver adequate water supply for both now and in the future, thus playing a meaningful role in promoting and maintaining peace by eliminating the potential for conflict caused by increased stress on our water resources.
The CWSA head said he is hopeful the UN Sustainable Development Goal of water and sanitation for all will be achieved significantly sooner rather than later.
We also pray for those in our world who do not have access to fresh water as we have it here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We pray that God will allow nations to become truly united and work together to see the sustainable development goal of water and sanitation for all achieved.
A stakeholders consultation on the revised Draft Fisheries and Aquaculture Act, which governs the local fisheries sector, was held yesterday at the Fisheries Conference Room. Speaking to SVG-TV News, Chief Fisheries Officer Jennifer Cruikshank-Howard said they are hoping to finalize the draft soon. However, they need to have the input of fisherfolk across St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
We have started the process a couple of years ago. We have a draft. We are trying to finalize this draft. Before it used to be our Fisheries Act. Now we have included aquaculture because we know that a number of persons are now involved in sea moss farming, and we want to also have aquaculture as a new entity, as an option for fishers or persons to get involved in the industry. There will be a consultation and to further engage the fishers. One was held in January, at the end of January, and we have asked the fishers to come back so that we can look at what is there so we can have it being finalized.
Cruikshank-Howard said another consultation is likely to be held later this year. In the 72 hours weather outlook now, we hear that the SVG Met Services says on the southwestern edge of the Atlantic high pressure system, low level moisture is converging south of our islands to increase the chance of showers. It says weak and stable conditions could maintain a few scattered showers across St. Vincent and Grenadines later today and Saturday. Shower activity is expected to decrease Saturday night until a few showers cross our islands again overnight Monday. No significant dust concentration is expected over the next few days, but a thin film may be noticeable across our area at times. Gentle, moderate northeasterly trades occasionally increase to fresh across our islands are also expected, and directions turn east-southeasterly by Sunday. It says sea conditions are slight to moderate in open water, with swells ranging from 0.5 to 1.2 meters west of our islands and 1.2 to 1.8 meters east of our islands. In other local news now, we head at 21 days into the 92 days gun amnesty. The guns are slowly coming in, much to the satisfaction of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force. Speaking to SVG-TV News after a walkabout in Otley Hall yesterday, Deputy Commissioner of Police Frankie Joseph says they have collected 4 illegal guns and a number of ammunition, which far outweighs the last gun amnesty held in 2003.
We have collected 4 firearms had been handed over during the amnesty, and I think 52 rounds of ammunition. Well, it is so far in the last amnesty in 2003. For the 3 months, we got 4 firearms. That is in 2003. After the completion of the amnesty, the 3 months amnesty, we had 4 firearms. But in less than 1 month, we have 4. So it is going a lot better than the last amnesty. Our hope now is that it continues.
The Deputy Commissioner alluded to the fact that more entities are involved in collecting the illegal firearms, which he feels has resulted in more guns being handed over when compared to the 2003 gun amnesty.
The last time we had an amnesty, it was in 2003, and in our estimation, it was not as successful as we were hoping it to be. And we sat down, and one of the things that we came up with, because the only collecting agency at that time in 2003 was the police, and with a lot of things were expressed that people say that they did not have the confidence in the police to hand it into the police because they were afraid of repercussions down the road. So therefore, in this amnesty, we included some agencies, like we include members of the House of Assembly, we include lawyers, we include Justice of the Peace, Minister of Religions, and those kind of persons who would feel confident in to hand in their firearms, and it is a no question asked amnesty, meaning that if a person decide to hand in a firearm or ammunition, you cannot ask them what is their name, what is their address or their telephone number. It is a no question asked amnesty, and we are not going to pay for the firearm.
The current gun amnesty ends on May 31st, 2024. During the walkabout, persons were encouraged to hand in their illegal guns and ammunition. Following the walkthrough of the community on Thursday, the Deputy Commissioner and other high-ranking officers of the Royal St. Vincent and Grenadines Police Force engaged residents listening to their concerns. Some of the residents say they are living in fear, while others say they have grown accustomed to staying indoors. And those who do go outside say they are trying not to venture out after dark. A constant topic raised during the engagement is the need for more police patrols in the area.
They're basically like people who live in the community now, yeah? You go down to make a complaint and they're in the boxers and the vest. If something is to happen, how soon can you get dressed to go and
move out, yeah.
discuss stuff? Like, so I guess they wait until they hear the shots to move out, but I mean, you're supposed to be more proactive than reactive, right?
It should be.
Early on, when things were a bit more hot, they used to be patrolling up and down. But I guess because things are not as make themselves more evident on the block. Yeah. Like every 3 hours, they swap out, right? Yeah. So that we know that there is somebody there. Right, and more than likely, things won't be as hot. Hold on. Things won't be as hot as we call it on the at the hall.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why we
have the unit over here. Yeah, we realized that because it used to be a little mobile
police can be more
right?
visible in the area.
And even when it was up there on the little thing right by the Castleman shop, things were a bit more, I think they were better because they were right there. Good. Right on the block. But now a bit further down and it just looks like if they're in a house, like they're renting. Right.
The Deputy Police Commissioner said he is satisfied that they were able to hear the views and concerns of the residents.
Most importantly, we met with a lot of young guys and also some females, who actually has a lot to say. And some of the things that they are saying is that, yes, while the police is doing a good job, they would love to see the police more. They are of the opinion that the police should be more in the community, patrolling the communities, and they say that would go a long way. So that is some of the things that they actually share. They also share the fact that at the hall, especially, used to have a lot of sporting activities. The guys used to be involved in playing football competition and cricket competition, but now you hardly have the guys playing any sports. So they are hoping that persons would come in and organize like sporting competition, football competition, to keep the young guys occupied meaningfully, so that as a way of keeping them away from crime and violence. But the walkthrough was very well accepted, and also with the walkthrough we had 14 food buckets that we hand out. What we did, we got the names of 14 vulnerable persons and we hand out a food bucket for them. Those food buckets were sponsored by the Rapid Relief Organization, that is OSV.
Joseph said they will be going back to the drawing board to see how they can improve the safety of the residents in Otley Hall and surrounding communities.
Well, these are exactly some of the things that we want to hear. We want the communities, whenever we do these walkthroughs, we want the communities to be frank with us, okay, and tell us if they think that we are doing something good, if they think that we can improve, if they think that we are not doing what we are supposed to do, because when we get this information, what we'll do, we'll sit down among the commissioners, and not only the commissioners, at our officers meeting, and we'll put the necessary things in place to ensure that those things that the community shared with us, that we actually improve on them. So every community that we go to have these walkthrough, we all also tell the communities that we want them to be honest with us. If we are not doing what we are supposed to do, we want them to tell us, because that is the only how we would know what to improve on and what other things that we could implement to make the community safer.
The main goals of the police walkabouts and town hall meetings include, but are not limited to, build a closer working relationship between the police and the public, engage the public on matters relating to crime prevention, safety and security, public order and the national firearms amnesty, solicit recommendations about ways in which the police and the public can work together to curb incidents of crime and create safer communities. The next walkabout and town hall meeting will take place in the Greg's Lauders area on March 28th. There's been a number of home invasions or burglaries in several communities across St. Vincent and Grenadines, in some cases where perpetrators are allegedly using unknown substances to put occupants in slumber when they carry out their illegal act. Corporal of Police Edson Smith, who was a guest on the Cop Shop program, briefly spoke on the issue, which he said is under investigation, as he advised persons on measures they can take to secure their homes.
What I could say is that those incidences are being investigated currently. Okay. If there is a particular fear in a community where people would have been using a strange substance, there are measures that you could put in place to prevent that, which is to secure your doors. And if you know you're sleeping close to a window and you keep your window open, probably put the head to the different side of the bed, because I mean they have to have access to one of your nasal passage or your mouth to even have the chance to spray a chemical. I'm not sure of what chemical is being used. If there is a chemical used at all, I would have read a report regarding that. But as to the knowledge, I don't have any knowledge of that being a trend. I don't know if it's isolated or I don't know if it's a trend. But if there is a concern, there are things that you could do. Secure your compound. You know, if your bed head is close to a window, because I mean, you want the breeze to be natural breeze. Yeah. You probably need to put the bed head in a different corner, change the layout of your room and stuff.
On community safety, Corporal Smith said a major challenge facing the SVG police force is a lack of communication with members of the public who often withhold information from the police. Corporal Smith said in the past the people of SVG were more communal and collaborative. However, they are increasingly adopting a Western self-centered mode of interaction, which has had a negative effect on the country.
Look at the times we're living in. You know, 10 years ago, we were not even being able to probably stream live on this medium. So the technology has definitely improved. But for some reason, it is not trickling down or spreading out from observation to even police knowledge. You know, we have WhatsApp, we have Facebook Messenger. A lot of times, and I confront this on a regular basis, people observe strange individuals, and we were speaking about it outside before the program. You know, they would observe, you know, a strange person, and they keep the information to themselves. St. Vincent is not a big place, so a lot of times we see strange people in our communities, and because we want to stick to ourselves, we don't even want to friendly, you know, in a friendly manner approach these people. So I would see. I've never met Mr. Daniel before, and I am afraid to say, I can't place a face. Where are you from? I hope you're having a good morning. You know,
ask a question.
Ask a question. And that question could be able to justify an intent. If a person doesn't have any, they're not looking for land, they don't have any family there, they don't know anybody in the community. Why are you loitering?
Where you from?
You know, I mean, you have to make
where
it.
You don't
ask them where you're from, but the approach, you know, goes a very long way.
Cultural Officer Maxine Brown says that the activities held thus far for the National Heroes and Heritage Month have been successful, and that preparations for the 2025 activities are already in progress. Brown, who was a virtual guest on NBC Radio recently, used the opportunity to express gratitude to Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves and his government for their work in seeking to acquire Balasso and turn it into a cultural historic memorial site for the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Well, as cultural officer, we will continue to do our part as a department to ensure that our Garifuna lives on. And as I walk by this song, quite reflective, and as you know, I'm a choreographer. But the next story you see from Miss Maxine Brown, cultural officer, choreographer. It will be one on Baliso. So next year, I have a choreography planned already for Baliso, and I think it's going to be done to the music. From the rivers of Baliso. There's something about Baliso, and we want to respect it. And I'm happy as cultural officer that the Prime Minister will eventually acquire this land and make it indicative, make it a shrine for our Garinaga people, and we can only go from here. Baliso, it means a lot to us, and this heritage we take for granted. And we're not taking it for granted because we know that we don't care. We didn't know. And now we are knowing. It's a true awakening.
Brown highlighted that a journey to Baliso is one that persons must take, stressing the importance of leaving a legacy behind for the future generation.
I was on the trip to go, but when I got there, I said, I'm going to Baliso, and I had no regret. It's an experience. And as you go to Baliso more and more, you want to even go back some more. It sounds redundant, but it's just something that's calling you, like, see this land. Get an experience. And those who are very spiritually inclined, they feel it more than us because they get emotional, they cry, some will fall in the water, and get a true spiritual awakening. Every year we host this particular month, and when it gets to the end, we kind of reevaluate of how we can do it better. Who can we better engage? How can we be more involved with our Garinago people? And so year after year, we continue to do this because, as I already indicated, this is who we are. And we ought to respect that, so that leave this legacy now, so that the future generation will have something to live by and to pass on to the next generation.
The next activity for the 2024 National Heroes and Heritage Month will be on Tuesday, March 26, a lecture to be delivered by historian Dr. Adrian Fraser on the topic National Hero and Heritage Day, Meaning and Significance, What's Next? March is celebrated annually as National Heroes and Heritage Month with a range of activities and events in acknowledgement of the work of Paramount Carib Chief Joseph Chatouillet, this country's national hero, and the Garifuna culture. Activities in Bequia for Easter mainly onshore this year as organizers prepare for an eventful 5 days. The offshore activities by the Bequia Sailing Club will not be having any regatta this year. For the onshore activities, its chairperson, Juan Providence, said the activities start off on Thursday, March 28 with a church service and ends on Easter Monday, April 1st.
It begins on the Thursday with the gospel concert under the almond tree, which begin at 7 p.m. On Friday, there would be a triathlon and a small goal soccer at Hamilton. The triathlon starts at the bus shed in Friendship at 8:30, and it ends in Hamilton at the dinghy dock there. On Saturday morning, the activity will begin at Hamilton with the coconut boat and gumboat race beginning at 10:30. That will be followed by the Easter egg hunt, both for children and adults. And later in the day from 1, we have the ECGC bake-off at the Reef. On the Sunday, we move back to Lower Bay, and we have the Family Fun Day and Beach Lime. We will have the Tourism Authority will be having coconut bat cricket tournament on the beach. On the land in Lobe itself, there would be bouncing castle.
Providence said the Bequia Tourism Committee is also working on promoting the tourism aspect through the activities, noting that the ICC World Cup ball will be on display.
There will be the display of the ICC ball by the local cricket association in conjunction with the Tourism Authority. Climax on Monday with the activities, the cultural expo under the almond tree. We have local stalls, craft, food. We also have joining from Rose Hall. The Rose Hall drummers would be there to partner with us. Do some quadrille and maypole and drumming, bringing back some of the traditional activities that we used to have that we have been slipping out from us, so we want to bring it back into the East. We have free face painting by Liquest Petroleum Jelly. greasy pole, musical chairs, just to mention a few. We're inviting all to come out and enjoy a fun-full weekend on Beckway this Easter 2024.
Vendors will be afforded the opportunity to push their income earnings, but are reminded to register soonest.
Under the almond tree, there's limited, so only the stalls that are those were the 10s. So we might just have maybe about 10 or 12 under the almond tree itself. But the surrounding areas will have quite a few because they are mainly icebox vendors. And for the icebox vendors, we are requesting that you register so we could allocate a spot for you. So register with Shanika James at the District Council, so you can secure your spot for whether it be for Sunday or Monday. Sunday in Lobby and Monday under the almond tree. Those who have their craft would still be occupying their craft space. And we do invite them to come a little closer, those with the craft, because the intention on the Monday is to showcase what is being done locally. So whether you're making a product, whether you're producing a craft, or we have those persons who try to secure a spot every year to do their local food.
Since the COVID-19 pandemic, the Beckway Sailing Club has not been able to hold a full-fledged regatta like previous years. A former commodore of the club, Rory King, said this is due to many setbacks being experienced. Members of the Public Service Union will soon be going to the polls to elect a new executive committee to run the affairs of the union over the 2024 to 2026 biennium. The elections will be held over the two-day period, Tuesday the 23rd and Wednesday the 24th of April 2024. The nomination process closes on Friday, April 5th. In a news release, the PSU says voting will take place at the workplace, that is the various ministries and departments, and also at statutory bodies where the union is recognized as a bargaining agent for workers. Chair of the nominations committee, Harvey Farrell, was quoted in a news release as saying that this is a third election that will be conducted at the workplace since a resolution was passed at the 75th AGM of the union in September 19, 2018, thus replacing the traditional voting system of having election as part of the AGM. According to the news release, Farrell said the crafters of the resolution envisions a wider participation in the election and a deepening of the democratic process, and is appealing to members to become more actively involved in the affairs of the union. He said that one of the ways of doing so is for members to get involved in the upcoming election process.